Hi everyone. So Facebook Live today, 2 o'clock. I've been asked for some hints and tips around weight restoration and sort of trying to regularly sort of like have some food intake. And so I was thinking about this, and what I would say is it's so difficult because people can say, well, just eat more, but obviously we know it's not that easy. Otherwise, we know what we have to do. But there's a lot of feelings that come up when we think about trying to eat more, and to try and get past them is really, really difficult. And so it's not just about kind of the sort of like it's more difficult, it's more complex, and I totally get that. So I mean, I could give you sort of the thing, like, try and eat with somebody else, to sort of like sit down and eat with somebody else, because it's a lot easier to kind of think, oh well, I'll do that later, I'll eat later, when there's nobody around, there's nobody checking up on you, and that can feel quite sort of safe and being in control, etc. But if you are serious about, I've got to this point now, I know that I need to eat, I do want to eat, but I'm struggling, get somebody with you, have somebody that's going to hold you accountable, as no matter how icky and sort of like that feels, and I totally get that. But if you are serious about it, the way to not cheat is to get somebody that's going to hold you accountable to every single meal, every single snack. And if you can eat with somebody, I know it's hard again, I know, but it will help. And so what I would, but to sort of, what helped me was to do the EFT, to do the tapping on how I felt about it. So just have a think about how you feel about, about eating. How does that make you feel? What emotions come up when you think about eating something? Is it fear? Is it anxiety? Is it guilt? Think about how that makes you feel, and then just do the tapping on it. And it could be just simply, and you have in the pin post, there's a guidance to do the tapping. If you need some extra help, just let me know. But you can just, even if it's sort of like, even though I feel so scared to eat this right now, or even if it's before you actually get into the kitchen, even if it's sort of like you're coming up to sort of like a meal and you've yet to go in the kitchen. I remember tapping on even going in the kitchen, because I was sort of like overwhelmed with fear and anxiety, even the thought of that. So it could be, even though I'm overwhelmed at the thought of going into the kitchen and I feel all this fear and all this anxiety, and I'm just tapping on my karate chop point here, I completely love and accept myself, even though the thought of going into the kitchen and preparing myself some food just completely sends me into panic. I completely love and accept myself, even though I know I have to get myself to eat something to eat just now, but I'm really, really scared. I completely love and accept myself. And then you can just tap through the points, all this fear, all this panic, all this anxiety, all this fear, all this overwhelming panic, all this overwhelming anxiety, all this fear in my body, all this fear I'm experiencing right now. And just say to yourself exactly what you're feeling. there's part of me that wants to go and get this food because I know that I need to, but the other part of me is just not wanting to at all. I'm trying to hide. I'm trying to think of excuses why I don't have to. I'm trying to put it off until later. However you're feeling, just say it out loud and tap while you're doing it. And just sort of like through tapping these points, you're not going to, just do it in a couple of seconds. You have to kind of just keep tapping on these points. Everything that's kind of coming up for you, everything that you think about, maybe about eating. So, even though the thought of eating just sends me in, complete anxiety mode, all this anxiety around even the thought of eating something, all this fear around eating, just kind of like keep tapping through the points over and over again on all of this, whatever you're feeling about the thought of eating, and then hopefully that will help you just feel more calm and more relaxed, and so that you're able then to take the next step. So you're able to move into the kitchen, and then you might sort of do a little bit more tapping, and then kind of like release your fear of preparing the food, then sort of like of eating it. And I know it sounds like a lot of effort and a lot of work, but once you do this, once you do the tapping, each time you do it, the fear and the panic and the anxiety, or whatever the feelings that you're feeling, will start to come down. If you're highly resistant, if depending on where you are in terms of your recovery, if you have high resistance, then there's obviously a lot more work that's needed. But it's really important to keep doing this, and I had to do it on a daily basis. And also with weight restoration, again, think of how you feel about weight restoration. Because it might be the same, it might be very much linked, but there might be some different. For me, I think when I got to a certain sort of, when I was serious about recovery, but I wanted to very much kind of like hit my, your set weight, your goal weight, etc. But I didn't want to go any, even slightly above it. And so there was that whole anxiety around that, because I sort of wanted to keep a lid on that. So you could tap around that if that's what's relevant to you. But whatever it is that you're feeling, just say it out loud and do the tapping. And that's the best hint and tip I can give you, really. But if you want, and this obviously it requires motivation to do it, but it is a really helpful technique that I found, and I know my clients find as well. But other than that, tapping on the emotions that you're feeling and all the thoughts and everything that's going on in your head right now, you can also sort of challenge this way of thinking by, what if your best friend came up to you and said, oh, this is how I feel? What would you say to them? And I know it can be hard again because, we always think, well, that's okay for them and they're not going to put on weight and they can eat what they want, but I'm different. Why are you different? What, often I used to think, well, I'm not special. So, and almost like the eating disorder made me feel special. But then if I have all these rules that apply to me and nobody else, so I think everybody else can get away with it, but I can't, there's no way I can eat that, or there's no way, that would be okay for me. Surely that makes me special in myself. So, it's different ways of looking at things. And let's face it, our mind gets so distorted and we beat ourselves up so much. We see ourselves so negatively. Just give yourself a break. Honestly, you are you are special just as you are. You don't need any eating disorder to kind of make you feel special, or I know it has that, but I also know it's sort of, it doesn't feel that great as well. And there's very much sort of like, I very much had an angel and a devil sat on my shoulders telling me different things, and it's like a bit having a split personality almost. So yeah, so challenge your thinking. Focus on the facts. Is this really gonna, I used to think, oh, if I ate that then I'd be absolutely huge. Is it really, factually, based on rational thought and facts, is that really going to be the case? And if your best friend, came up to you saying the same thing, what would you say? And take that advice that you'd give somebody else. I've seen loads of eating disorder groups and stuff, and you always have the best advice to give to anybody else. It's time to listen to that advice for you too. And the other thing, the one big thing as well that I would give you, a good tip, is to have a reason to eat. Have a reason that you would want to eat. And it might be something in the future. It might be that you want to go to uni, but you're too ill at the moment to even contemplate that. It might be that maybe your periods have stopped, but you really want to be a mom sort of later on in life. Maybe you're a mom already, but you're concerned about how your illness is affecting you and your family right now. And it could be that, you'd love to be able to, let's face it, see your kids grow up, and kind of like not pass on your sort of like traits to them, etc. It could be that you want to travel. It could be that you really would like to have, a career. You've always wanted to be, maybe sort of like a mental health nurse, or you want to be, about helping people. Because let's face it, people who have been through crap, they know what it's like and they want to help other people. So it might be a career that you're looking to do. Whatever it is, that is a reason to eat. And try and think of something that's really kind of, solid, a real solid goal that you've got to aim for. And every time you try, sort of like you think of your meal plan, that you're going through, think of, have that aim in your mind, that goal in your mind, so that you feel more determined, you feel more focused to go for it, rather than I'll put it off later. Because the more you put it off later, the longer it's going to take you to get to those goals. Get my words in right. It will take you longer to reach those goals. It would take longer to make those goals a reality for you. And it really can be a reality. And it is really, really possible. And recovery, I know we're scared of the word recovery because we envisage certain things, but it's very individual recovery, and it's whatever it means to you. And it could be just recovery for you, could be achieving those goals that we've just, that I've just sort of suggested to you. That is it. And then it doesn't seem so scary if you have that focus. So I hope that helps. If you need any help with the tapping, if you want some more instruction, you want to work specifically on anything regarding the tapping, any issues that you have, please do let me know, and I'll happily try and work them through for you. Okay, have a great rest of your day, and I will see you soon. All right, take care. Bye. Lots of love.